How much cocaine can Charlie Sheen do?
How much?
Enough to kill 2.5 men. What did the sheep say to the shepherd?
Bah.
You heard me? For my Netflix special, that'll inevitably happen.
So do you ever get the urge to eat something just because it's there? Yeah, me too. That's how I lost my job as a gynecologist.
Oh, no. They say it's the same as the distance from the tip of a guy's thumb to the tip of his index finger.
That's ridiculous.
Can I use either thumb?
The vagina is the greatest engine on the planet. I mean, it can be started with one finger, it's self-lubricating, takes any size piston, and changes its own oil every 4 weeks.
If you have a fucked up sense of humor, you came to the right place. Dirty joke time. Let's go. So, there's a paranormal activities class with about 100 students. And on the first day, the teacher goes, how many people here believe in ghosts? About 30 kids raised their hands, so the teacher's getting really excited. He goes, has anyone seen a ghost? About 10 kids raised their hand. At this point, this is the best response the teacher's ever gotten. So he goes, has anyone touched a ghost? 3 kids raised their hand. He goes, you know what? I have one last question. My last question is, has anyone fucked a ghost? And after 5 minutes of silence, an Arab kid in the back raises his hand. So the teacher is surprised and she asks him, Anwar, can you tell everybody in the class about your ghost experience? Anwar goes, ghosts? Oh, wallah habibi, I thought you said goats.
Hi sir, are you ready to order?
My mother's actually in the bathroom.
Do you know what she's having?
A shit, I think.
A woman goes to the doctor, worried about her husband's temper. The doctor asks, what's the problem? The woman says, I don't know what to do. Every day my husband seems to lose his temper for no reason. It scares me. The doctor says, I have a cure for that. Every time your husband seems to lose his temper, get a glass of water and start swishing it. Swish and swish, but don't swallow it until he either calms down or leaves the room. 2 weeks later, the woman comes back to the doctor looking fresh and reborn. The woman says, Doctor, that was brilliant. Every time my husband started losing it, I would swish the water. I swished and I swished, and he would calm right down. But how does a glass of water do that? The doctor says the water itself does nothing. It's keeping your mouth shut that does the trick.
Here you go.
Hey, babe. Got one for you. One night, a couple is in bed. And the husband smoothly turns over and caresses his wife's bottom. The wife turns to him and says, baby, I'm sorry, but I have an appointment with the gynecologist tomorrow, and I really need to stay fresh. The husband, rejected, turns back to his bedside and tries to sleep. Unable to sleep, a few minutes later, he turns around and he starts caressing his wife's face. Then he whispers to her, do you have an appointment with the dentist tomorrow too?
That'll be me. That'll be me. Tracy, get out. Go watch TV. You didn't even help me clean the kitchen.
So this guy named Dave is bragging to his friend about how he personally knows literally everybody. And his friend is a little skeptical. He's like, you don't know everybody. You don't know, say, Tom Cruise, for example. And Dave goes, oh yeah, I know Tom Cruise. We go way back. Come on, I'll show you. They fly out to his house in Hollywood, knock on his door, and Tom opens up and goes, Dave, how are you? I haven't seen you in forever. But his friend is still a little bit skeptical. And he's like, fine, what about former President Barack Obama? You don't know him. And he's like, oh, I know Barack. Come on, follow me. They go to his house, knock on his door. Obama opens up and goes, Dave, I haven't seen you in forever. Come inside, have a couple of drinks. But his friend is still not convinced. He goes, fine, what about the Pope? You don't know the Pope. And Dave goes, follow me. And they fly out to the Vatican, but there's a huge crowd of people. And he's just like, I'm not going to be able to get the Pope's attention from here, so I'll just go talk to the guards since I know all of them, and I'll just go up and see the Pope. And sure enough, 30 minutes later, he's out on the balcony with the Pope. But when Dave is coming back down, he sees his friend is busting out laughing, and he's just like, dude, what's so funny? And he says, I lost it because you came out onto the balcony with the Pope, and the guy next to me goes, who the fuck is up there with Dave?
A guy walks into a bar and sees a sign that reads, cheese sandwich, $2.50, chicken sandwich, $3.50, hand job, $10. He checks his wallet and says to the sexy bartender, Are you the one who gets the hand jobs, he says. Yes, the bartender purrs. I am. Well, wash your freaking hands, says the man. I want a cheese sandwich.
A woman goes to the doctor, worried about her husband's temper. The doctor asks, what's the problem? The woman says, I don't know what to do. Every day my husband seems to lose his temper for no reason. It scares me. The doctor says, I have a cure for that. Every time your husband seems to lose his temper, get a glass of water and start swishing it. Swish and swish, but don't swallow it until he either calms down or leaves the room. 2 weeks later, the woman comes back to the doctor looking fresh and reborn. The woman says, Doctor, that was brilliant. Every time my husband started losing it, I would swish the water. I swished and I swished, and he would calm right down. But how does a glass of water do that? The doctor says, the water itself does nothing. It's keeping your mouth shut that does the trick.
Hey babe, you want to hear a joke?
Sure.
Little Johnny and his grandpa are hanging out again. Grandpa's smoking a cigarette. Little Johnny says, Grandpa, can I have a cigarette? Grandpa says, well, can your wiener touch your butthole? Little Johnny says, nope. He says, well, you can't have a cigarette. Next day they're hanging out. Grandpa's drinking a beer. Little Johnny says, can I have a drink of that beer? Once again he says, can your wiener touch your butthole? He says, no. He said, no, you can't have any beer. Well, they're sitting at the house the next day, eating, and little Johnny's eating cookies from Grandma. And Grandpa walks in. He says, can I have one of them cookies? Little Johnny looks at him. He says, can your wiener touch your butthole? Grandpa says, well, it most certainly can. Little Johnny says, good, go fuck yourself.
Trey!
Oh, yeah, we were messing around the other night, and she got straight perverted.
You mean kinky, right?
No, I mean perverted.
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, kinky, you use a feather, right? Perverted, you use the whole fucking chicken.
Dark humor with parents, you can't make a facial expression.
Why did I paint my PC black?
I don't know why.
So it could run faster.
How can you tell if your wife is dead?
How?
The sex is the same, but the dishes pile up.
What's the worst part about being a pedophile?
I don't know what's the worst part.
Fitting in.
What do you tell a woman with two black eyes?
What?
Nothing, you already told her twice.
Joke time.
Okay.
What kind of shoes do pedophiles wear?
Pedo loafers.
White Vans.
What? God bless America. What is wrong with you?
Guy walks into a bar and he says, bartender, I'd like a shot of 12-year-old scotch. Bartender thinks, who the fuck's this guy? So he pours him a shot of 3-year-old scotch, sets it down in front of him, he shoots it down, spits it out, says, that's 3-year-old scotch. I told you I want a 12-year-old scotch. Okay. So he grabs a bottle of 6-year-old scotch, pours him a little shooter, shoots it down, spits it out, says, that's 6-year-old scotch. I told you I want a 12-year-old scotch. It's all right, man, all right. So he grabs a bottle of 12-year-old scotch, pours him a little shooter, he shoots it down, he says, thank you, sir, that was very smooth. Another guy walks up, sets a little shooter down in front of him. He says, try that. Guy picks it up, shoots it down, spits it out. He says, it tastes like piss. He says, it is. How old am I?
A rich guy and a poor guy are having some drinks at a bar. It's Christmas time. The poor guy asks the rich guy, hey, what are you going to get your wife for Christmas? The rich guy says, I'm going to get her a diamond necklace and a BMW. Whoa, diamond necklace and a BMW? Why? He says, in case she doesn't like the BMW, I know she's going to love the diamond necklace. Okay. So then rich guy says, why? What are you going to get your wife for Christmas? The poor guy says, I'm going to get her a pair of slippers and a dildo. Pair of slippers and a dildo? Why? The poor guy says, in case she doesn't like the slippers, she can go fuck herself.
Good morning.
Good morning. Why don't vegetarians moan during sex?
Oh, no.
Because they're afraid to admit that a piece of meat makes them happy.
Okay, Jennifer!
Hey Joe, what do broccoli and anal have in common? If you're forced to have it as a kid, you'll hate it as an adult.